Evening. We're continuing our series of the 613 commandments. I'm very happy to say, thank you. I'm very happy to say that more and more people discovering it, Baruch Hashem. One of the things that's hard for me in general to understand is when you come to ask a person to do chesed, kindness. So most people decide based on how difficult it is to do it or not. If it's very easy to do, they do it. Difficult, less people do it. Even more difficult, even less people will do it. Extremely difficult, 1 out of 1,000 will agree to do. So basically, this is really how it works. The more difficult it is, the less people will do it. That's normally how it is. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be that way, but that's nature. That's the nature of the people. But one thing I don't understand. There is something that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave in this generation. You know, everything that Hashem put in this world has two sides, negative and positive, everything. Even the worst thing you can think of, there's a way to use it for positive things. When internet came out, right away everyone screamed, forget it, murder, you should not allow, don't put. They're right, it's dangerous. Big danger for kids, for adults. And we saw that it made a lot of damage. But at the same time, what you can do today with the internet would take you years, what you can do in one day. As far as reaching people, spreading Torah, teaching instruction about every mitzvah, giving instruction about everything that appear, the holidays, things. Most people, before the internet, most people didn't even know how to celebrate a simple holiday. Today they go into the Google, they enter in their language, and for sure they find a site that explains the law of Tisha B'Av. Today can become a Jewish knowledgeable person just through the internet without ever seeing a face of a rabbi or a face of a book in your whole life. Something like this never been before. You couldn't spread Torah, you couldn't speak in a place here in Queens, New York, and have more than 90 countries, people sitting and watching you an hour after the lecture ended. Things like this you never had. But at the same thing, there's a lot of distraction over there. But now there is something even more powerful, which is called Facebook. Facebook. Right away, Facebook came out, all the rabbis screamed, be careful, it destroyed family, it destroyed children, it destroyed the life, it destroyed, and they're all right. But same way it destroyed, it has the power to save thousands in minutes. The power of this thing, it's either to destroy thousands in minutes, everything became now fast and big, for good or for bad. How you decide if it's going to affect you or not, based on your free choice. Depends what buttons you press. You press here, you lose your share to the world to come. You press here, you just got a share to the world to come. Depends what page you go in. Everybody understands. Same thing on the street. What street you enter, what street you don't enter, same story. But it's much fast and massive. The one thing that this is all preparation to what I want to say now. The one thing I don't understand, I look at not only my Facebook, in general, the way Facebook works. There is a concept over there that when you hear a lecture by a rabbi you like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour lecture, an article that he wrote, divrei musar, all kinds of things, and you enjoy very much. You're a member, you put yourself in a list there. Every time there is an extra lecture, right away you get it to your phone, you watch it. You're a member already in this page. What is the problem to press like that another 1,000 Jews will get it? I don't get it. I just can't believe what kind of a murder is this. What kind of people we are, what kind of despicable human being we can be, that by pressing a little button, another 50,000 Jews will get it, because it goes to your list and to their list, and it never stops. It goes to another 500 people, and if each one of them will press, it will go basically in the end to every Jew in the world. And these Jews will never see in their whole life Torah, ever. You never get them to come to listen to a rabbi. Forget it. Never. There's no chance. They are much like goyim, this kind of people. Why is it that 56,000 people heard the lecture and only 28 of them today press like. How can it be? How egoistic a person can be? And everybody understands that this is how the concept that it works. If you don't press, it doesn't go to your friends. It just stay by you. So I understand if you found a treasure and you don't want to share it with your friends, no, you're greedy, you love money, you don't want to share your own money with somebody else. I understand. When it's very difficult to do chesed, you have to work so hard, and you have to go and kill yourself all day and sweat and pick up a refrigerator because your friend doesn't have money to pay the movers. I understand. I understand your laziness, fine. At least I understand. But to hit a button and it will go to another 500 people of your list and you're not doing it, you name it if it's not murder. What is it if it's not murder? You don't care that they'll die goyim, these Jews? It doesn't bother you? I'm not talking you, I'm talking the people who already use it. Better never to start with that. Better to find Torah in much kosher places. But if that's the places you hang out, we got to bring the Torah to the bathroom sometimes, unfortunately. That's the bathroom of this generation today. The internet, the Facebook, all these things. But the idea is, why not to be sharing with others? This is your opportunity to become a machzir b'tshuva. You don't know how to speak, you don't know how to teach, you don't know how to answer difficult questions. You don't have to know. You just hit once or twice a day. What? Up, it's over. But you won't do it. Why? Because you don't love Hashem. That's the truth. You don't. If it's garbage, of course, don't send it to others. You destroy your soul, you might as well don't destroy others. But if it's something positive, now they're going to hear about Shabbat. You have in your list 500 or 1,000 secular Jews that will never hear about Shabbat. What's the problem? You send it to them, 300 of them will be curious. What's this guy have to say about Shabbat? And maybe 50 of them will start keeping Shabbat in 2 weeks, and all 50 will go to your account every time they keep Shabbat. But you don't care. You don't care about yourself, you don't care about anything. So what is the religion is all about? You have Hashem gave you such a bonus with pressing few buttons a day. You can make millions, Baalei Tshuva. You can affect the whole world and you don't use it. That shows you don't care. I'm not talking about donating money, helping running, spreading CDs. No, I understand. You don't want to donate money. But here it's for free. What excuse? You're going to come in front of Hashem. Hashem's going to say to you, why didn't you donate your maaser to the CDs when you see so many people become religious from these CDs? So you're going to start making excuses. I was a hard-working guy. It was very difficult for me. I didn't want to give 10%. I gave to different places. Fine. At least you have what to answer. Then Hashem will say you're lying. Because even when you can spread the lectures by not spending a penny, you still did not do it. It just doesn't make sense. 56,000 people on the list. I wrote an ad today. How is it possible that so many of you enjoying the lecture and none of you thinks to give it to the other people? It's supposed to be, next month, it's supposed to be 100,000. And the next month, it's supposed to be 300,000. It's supposed to be by clicking few likes. But nobody cares. After that urgent message, 28 people agree to say, I like it. Thank you very much. You understand? Now, if they don't watch, then means they don't like. But I checked the number. They all watch almost. So they do watch and enjoy every clip. But to give it to others, Rabbi, it's too much for me. No, that's what it is. So we're continuing. This is last time we finished in Shemen HaMishcha. We spoke about the special oil Moshe Rabbeinu prepared. It was for a few hundred years until it disappeared from the world. It's a special oil that's how you make the kings. That's how you make Kohen Gadol. This is where we ended, Mitzvah number 110. Now, we're continuing number 111. Not to eat or enjoy anything that was brought to an idol. Not necessarily an idol. Any kind of idol worshipping. If the Indian came and put flowers in front of the cow that they worship, and now you want to give it to your fiancé, you want to save $20 in Costco, so you bring the flowers and you come and say, hi darling, here I came for Shabbat meal, put the flowers in a jar. You're not allowed to do it. Doing it, it's a sin from the Torah, just like eating pork. Imagine, you picked it up from the floor, you put it in front of his beautiful cow, whatever, you pick it up, you bring it to your fiancé or to your wife, it's a sin from the Torah. Why? It was used for any kind of idol worshipping. A rug they put in front of their Buddha in their temples. Anything that entered their temples to be used as avodah zarah. We're not talking some kind of electronic device, a watch. That wasn't used for avodah zarah. Even though a smart person won't want to touch it as well, because it was in a filthy place. But in general, everything that was used, like in India, it's very common, they shave their hair and give it to their idols because they cannot offer anything, they're very poor. So the women shave their hair, they give it, then they have tons of hair and they sell it to Italy. And all these designers make custom wigs with the money of the hair that was brought to an idol in India or other countries. And in the end, it reached Bnei Brak, Brooklyn, Borough Park, and all the fancy Jewish lady put it on their head, not knowing that 3 months ago, it was right under when Buddha makes his bathroom. Right under there, you know? And they put it on their head, and then you wonder why there's so many brain tumors and so many other problems. Why is it? Because of that. This mitzvah. לא לאכול ולשתות תקרובת עבודה זרה. Here generally speaking about eating and drinking. Anything that was brought, because they also used to serve food. So anything that was supposedly sacrificed, even like goat, sheep, they slaughter for their ghosts, for their idols, a Jew is not permitted to eat from it. Then we have mitzvah number 112, מצוות שביתת הארץ בשנת השמיטה. Every 6 years, the 7th year, there's a cycle. Every 7 years, the 7 years, there's a strike. All the farmers go to sleep for a whole year. They don't touch the trees, vegetables, whatever grow in the land. They don't give water. They don't clean the weeds. Nothing whatsoever. They don't pick up the fruit. There's a lot of things they're not allowed to do, because that year, everything goes to the poor people. They can't, they take for free. It's all hefker. The Gemara speaks a lot about it, and many of the Rishonim speaks about the person who put a lion there. You know, let's say a month before the Shonat Shemitah is over, he put a lion to walk in his field, because the poor people will be afraid to come pick it up. Soon the Shonat Shemitah will be over. He'll go back to the field, and he's going to be able to get some stuff. Somebody like this, if he's doing right, wrong, there's a lot of interesting questions about it. We don't have the time for it. But in general, a person has no permission. So what did the Torah say? In the 6th year, I am going to give you enough food for the 6th year, the 7th, and even the beginning of the 8th to restart the whole process, to start plowing and planting and all these things. It will be enough in the 6 years, which means more than double. And I once told a story that used to be a Yemenite Kabbalist in Israel. About 30 years ago, I believe he passed away. Rav Mordechai Sharabi, his name was. And he had a little garden in Israel, in his backyard. And he was bringing his yeshiva students to his house every 6th year for a tour to see how this year it's more than double of the amount. Double tomatoes, double cucumbers, double everything double. So you see, look at the blessing of the land. Every 6 years is blessed. 7 years you have to give the land rest. So that's called mitzvah shvita. The same thing, we have 6 days in a week that we work, and in 7 days we rested. That's how it goes by years. And that's how we go by Yovel, which means 7 times 7. Every 7 times Shemitah become the 58th year, which is Yovel. Today we don't have it, but in the old days, every 58 years, Yovel, it's a special occasion. All the real estate go back to the original owners, the slaves get released. There's many different things that applies in Yovel, but today we don't have Yovel, and it doesn't apply. Now, mitzvah number 113, not to eat meat and dairy mix. To eat it separately, it's permitted. From the Torah, it's permitted even a minute after. You just ate a big steak. From the Torah, you could come and take cheese and milk and drink right after, from the Torah. But God gave the rabbis authorities to make a fence around the Torah. Actually, many people who disrespect the laws that the sages made, they do not know that it's actually even worse than not keeping the laws of the Torah. Because when Hashem gave authority to the rabbis to make decrees and laws according to the need of every generation and generation, officially every decree that they made actually became a deoraita. Actually, and that's called lo tasur mikol asher yomru lecha yamin u'smol. Not allowed to move an inch to the right or an inch to the left from everything that you were instructed by the rabbis. And if somebody does it, I don't even want to tell you the rest of the pasuk, what his punishment is. Very, very serious. Why? Because Hashem doesn't want a mess. Everyone, he does whatever they want. This rabbi say, I don't care, I only care about what Hashem say. We have many ignorant people today that's how they feel. What's this? Oh, that's from the Torah? Okay, I'll keep it. This is from the Rabbanan? Not for me, Rabbi, I'm not in this level. But they don't know that every the Rabbanan that they don't keep, it's actually 1.5 sins. Worse than the Oraita. Why? The Oraita is one sin from the Torah. Don't eat pork. You ate, you violate the law of the Torah. Now, when the rabbis came and say to you that you have to do certain mitzvah like here, don't eat together milk and cheese when it's cold. From the Torah, you're only forbidden when at least one of them is hot and cook the other, so they mix together in heat. Then it's a sin from the Torah because it's cooked together. But if it's cold, what we call one slice of cold cut, one slice of mozzarella cheese, cold in a sandwich, if the rabbis never made a decree, it wasn't a sin. When it becomes a sin, you put it in a toaster and it heat, and now the cheese melted and the meat got heated. All right, and then it got mixed. From that moment on, if you eat it, just cooking it, it's a sin from the Torah. Eating it, it's another sin. Over here, it's a sin from the Rabbanan, which means is 1.5 sin. The actual sin of the Rabbanan that they say even cold you're not allowed to eat. And the second sin is that you did not listen to the laws of the rabbi who I nominated to give the law. I like to give this example. That imagine if I come to Microsoft New York. I don't know if they even have a building in New York, but let's assume they have a building somewhere, and I come and I go like this. Hello, shalom, yes, who are you? Don't ask questions. Just make me coffee and meet me in my office. So who are you? You're not working here. Shh, just make coffee. Meet me in the office, please. Then I go, I sit in the office, beautiful, nice leather couch. Then she comes and says, sir, if you're not going to tell me why, I'm going to call security. I say, go ahead, call security, see if you're going to have your job tomorrow. Now she's nervous. She called the other boss, They're all having a meeting now. What are they going to do with me? After a few minutes, one of them became brave and says, sir, we give you 30 seconds to leave. If not, we call 911. So they push me, they kick me out of the door, and I have to walk out. Okay, the next day I come back, but this time I come hand to hand with Bill Gates. As soon as they see that, they know they're in a serious problem. You know, yesterday I came, I say I'm the new manager here, but nobody took me serious. There's a lot of crazy people out there. Now I came with him and say, attention please, I forgot to call yesterday. Yesterday you embarrassed my new manager. I nominate him now to run the show. From now on, everything he say, it's like I said. Don't dare to violate one of his rules. You have problems with him, you have problems with me. Goodbye. What happened to the secretary? I don't have to tell her, bring coffee. Right away, she runs with the coffees. I'm sorry, sir. And everyone, sir, please forgive me. You have to understand. Everyone became nice all of a sudden. Why is it? Because now they know that Bill Gates nominates me. I'm the boss instead of him. Now, when they violate my rules, they really violate the rules of the boss. Same thing in the Torah. Lehavdil, you know, when Hashem said the rabbis have the authority based on the knowledge in my Torah, but not every local rabbi. Don't get the wrong impression. We are talking the sages that each one of them knew the Torah from left to right, from right to left by heart. And if you have a doubt about what I say, you don't have to go that far. You don't have to go 2,000 years back to know if I'm right. Just 120 years ago, we had rabbis like this. The Gaon Mivilna was 220, 230 years ago. He wrote the Torah from left to right, in reverse. 304,805 letters in reverse. Reverse, you understand? Try to say one telephone number in reverse. We'll see if you can do it. 304,805 letters. You understand? One time, a professor in Italy heard about the Vilna Gaon, the genius rabbi. Everybody call him the Gaon. The Gaon means the genius. So he decided to come to Vilna to check who is this Gaon. But he lived in Italy. He was in university in Italy. This is a non-religious Jew, you know, secular, one of the first seculars in Europe, 200 years ago. So he decided to come to Vilna. Finally, he arrived to Vilna. You know, it's not like today. You get on a plane, 2 hours later, you're there. He arrived after weeks of traveling. He arrived to Vilna, and he came to the house of the Gaon in Vilna, and the students there say, I'm sorry, the rabbi doesn't accept anyone. He's very busy with his learning now. Come in another time. He said, oh, I came from Italy. I cannot help you. You should, you know, who told you to come? He said, listen, right away he made a lie. They want to kill all the Jews over there. And they told us that we have 70 questions that we must come up with the answer according to the Torah. If not, they either kill the Jews or throw them out of Italy. So they told me to come specially to the Gaon Mivina and ask him the answer to these questions. So, okay, that's a different story. That's pikuach nefesh. It's a life risk. Let me ask the rabbi. He goes in, he tells him the story. The rabbi said, let him in. So he comes in with his list. He have the 70 most difficult questions a person can ask in life. The most difficult questions. Not ordinary questions. Very difficult questions. He was thinking about it for a long time. He comes in, so the Gaon Mivina say, yeah, how many questions? He says 70. He said, okay, read the questions. So the guy thought, first he wants an introduction to see what subjects he's talking about, and then probably we'll go one by one. So he told him read. So he read the first question. So the Gaon Mivina is continuing to learn. He's going, go ahead, like this. Number 30, number 40, number 50. Keep going. The guy said, well, this guy is making a fool out of me. He's maybe joking. Read. Up, he got to the 70s. Okay, you ready now? So, okay, the answer to question number 1, number 3, 7, 15, 21, 22, 65. It's the prophet Zechariah, chapter 21, verse 8 to verse 11. The answer from 2, 3, 17, 25, 27 is Navi Yeshaya, the Gemara in Baba Kama, Gemara in Baba Metzia, Masechet Shabbat, page 28, that's it. In less than 5 minutes, he said, okay, I gave you the answer to all the questions, now go find the answers in a book, goodbye. So this guy wrote in his book, for the first time in my life, I realized what does it mean to be a real genius. In university, every monkey is a genius. He knows math, a little bit genius. He knows a little bit history, genius. When he finally saw what a genius means to be, then he realized, you know, how do you realize if you're smart? If you never saw smarter people than you, you think the smartest in the world. But then you go to a different country, and you think, wow, I'm the best, and all of a sudden you see every little kid knows much better than you. Then you really know your real value. Up to now, you lived in illusion. But now you know your real value. So let's move on. So the Chachamim, you know, the Chachamim, when they finally made a decree, this is people who knew the entire Torah, the entire oral Torah, the entire Gemara, Nevi'im, everything. And then they say, well, based on the weakness of this generation, this is forbidden. Why? If people see that you eat meat and dairy, even cold, or you don't wait enough time between them, it's just a matter of time until people will start violating the Oraita and this law will be forgotten. So they made fence, decrees. As Hashem say in the Torah, make a fence around my fence. Why? If there is an atomic nuclear place, and there is radioactive water inside, and there is a fence around it, one fence is not enough, because as soon as you jump above it, you're finished. So what do? They make another fence, one, and now another one. The second one is a security for the security. This is what Hashem said to the rabbi to do. So up to 2,000 years ago, when Jews were very holy, and a man never dared to look at a woman, and a woman never showed herself in public streets, of course not modest, so nobody ever thought to make scenes, to touch her hand, to kiss her, to go to the bar. Nobody had these things even in the back of their mind. All of a sudden, after 1,300 years that the people were very holy, they started to see once in a while people who dare to look for a second a month. 1 second a month he look. And then another one looked, and they started to see, oh, people are starting to come down on their level. It's time to make a decree. What's the decree? You cannot be together in a closed room with a woman. Just to be with her in a closed room when the door is locked, when the blinds are down, and nobody has access to the room. Let's protect you from the sin. It's already forbidden to be together. To make a sin, it's from the Torah. But from the sages, just to lock yourself in a place that you can be there more than 3 minutes, it's already a sin. You do it, you make a sin. Why is it? Because one sin leads to another. First you're in a room, tomorrow you're again in a room. The third day, you know what happened. So that's why the rabbis made this decree. 2,000 years, this is the law. This is the law in the Jewish book of law. Nobody can come and say, that's not for me, I'm strong. The chief rabbi of the world is 95, 99, and he wants to be with a 17 years old that can be her granddaughter. He's not allowed. He doesn't say, I cannot see bichlal. I can't see, I'm blind. Even with glasses I can see. I'm 99 years old. What's the problem I be with her in a room? Cannot be. Nobody has any authority to violate any rule. So here is mitzvah lo le'echol basar. Don't make mistake here. There are 3 different sins. To cook meat and dairy, it's one sin, even if you don't need it. You want to cook it for your dog. You're not allowed. And to sell, if you already cooked it together, you want to sell it to a goy or to benefit from it, you're not allowed. And to eat it yourself, you're not allowed. This is 3 different sins from the 613 commandments. 3 sins, meat and dairy. Now, I know there are medical reasons why it's not healthy. The acid of the milk and the meat, they're already coming with a lot of research that show that the Jews are genius. How did they know 3,000 years ago not to eat meat and dairy? It's terrible in the stomach. And how did they know not to eat the pig, the pork? It takes 24 hours for the stomach of the pig to digest what he ate, and he eats all the bathroom and the diapers and everything he finds in the garbage. And it takes him 24 hours to digest, and by the time you eat it, by the time they kill him or they shot him, they don't slaughter them. They kill them or electrocute them. So everything is marinated in all the children's celebration over there, in a bathroom. And it's marinated in lots of liquid and all kinds of things. And then in the end, people, even though they wash it, doesn't matter. It's absorbed inside. And people eat it, and horrible. Who knows what sicknesses it brings. Any other animal, it's 4 hours to digest. A human being, 6 hours. Pig, 24 hours. And this is interesting because the Torah, as you know, it's all divine. So the Torah told us what to do, what not to do. Today they're finding out. But never make that mistake to think that the reasons for the mitzvot was medical. That's by the way, it's also beneficial for people who watch their health. But that wasn't the reason. There are much, much higher reasons than this. Healthy, not healthy. This is one of the last priorities. Some people think it's all about health. No. Health is important, but there are much, much higher spiritual things to every mitzvah. We hardly even know 1% of the secrets. But King Solomon, for instance, 3,000 years ago, he knew all the secrets except red cow. Of every mitzvah, there are 3,000 reasons why God gave it. 3,000 reasons for every mitzvah. We don't know 3, 4 even. 3,000. King Solomon knew, but red cow was above his understanding. That's what he wrote. Okay, now mitzvah number 114. We're already moving to a next parasha, which is called Parashat Vayakel. And mitzvah number 114, that the Jewish court cannot judge a person that is guilty of a sin that is execution penalty on Shabbat. They cannot, in other words, someone who was on Friday, for instance, Friday before Shabbat, they ruled him to die. They cannot execute him on Shabbat. You cannot. Why? Even though the Torah said that as soon as you judge a person right away, you have to move into the transaction of the execution. But if it falls on Shabbat, not allowed. Okay, so for instance, because it's involved with violating Shabbat, stoning, picking up rocks, throwing them from one area to the other, that's already violation of Shabbat. Burning in Shabbat, not allowed. So you see right away, it will require violation of many people the Torah said there's no permission. Other things, for instance, Brit Milah, circumcision, the Torah gave clear permission. Shabbat, no problem, you have to do it. A day, no matter what. Life risk, pregnancy, a woman have to give birth. A doubt, maybe there's a life risk. The boy has very high fever. You don't know, maybe it's a flu. Not such a big life risk. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it can be in another 4 hours dead. It happens. High fever, it's a danger. We don't take risk. Even 1 out of 1,000 chance, 0.1% chance that a person may die or get a permanent life damage, all kinds of, that's already called pikuach nefesh. And then there's permission to save his life. Okay, even though remember, there's 99.9% chance that he won't die. When it comes to life, you don't even take a drop of a risk. So that's no execution by the Jewish court on Shabbat. Mitzvah number 115, that's already going into Sefer Vayikra. So basically now we know we finish Genesis, we finish Bereshit, we finish Exodus. Now we're moving into the Sefer Vayikra. You know, the Torah is not divided equally. For instance, Parashat Bereshit is 1,400 years. Just the first chapter in the Torah describes history of 1,400 years. The rest, some books, the whole book is 1 month. The whole entire book, like Bamidbar, 1 month. Just chapter of Genesis, the first chapter in the Torah, 1,400 years. Also when it comes to mitzvot, one parasha can get tens of mitzvot, and one parasha can get 1 mitzvah, like this parasha that I just read, Yakel is 1 mitzvah, that's what. This mitzvah, you cannot execute people on Shabbat. Finish, that's it, this whole parasha. Now we're going into Sefer Vayikra, Leviticus, and it's mitzvah number 115. Now this is a sacrifice we call Korban HaOlah. There's different kinds of sacrifices. In previous lectures I said that the sacrifices is huge secrets in it, big secrets. It's all about reincarnation of wicked people who came back and reincarnated in animals, and now by putting them and slaughtering them and putting them on the altar and sacrifice them to Hashem, because the whole creation, it's very interesting how it works. You have Chai, Tzomeach, Domem, Umedaber. Medaber is a person that has intelligence to speak, to communicate. That's the highest level of the 4. And then what do you have under? Chai, animals. And what do you have under? Under you have Tzomeach, plants, trees, things that are growing in the nature. And then you have raw material, Domem, that cannot move, cannot talk, cannot do anything. This is the level. First, raw material that cannot move, doesn't have life in it. Then you have plants that have some kind of life in it, not like the animals. Then you have the animals, which is a higher spiritual level. And then you have people. And in people, you have 2 categories, non-Jews and Jews. But in general, people are the top 4 category, top. Now, how does it go? You put a seed in the ground. Seed is a raw material. You take a piece of nothing, it doesn't move, doesn't have feelings, you put it in the ground. It turns into the higher level of a plant. Now it's growing and having feelings. The plants have feelings. They are emotion, they fall in love. Watch my Torah and Science number 2 lecture from 2-3 weeks ago. It's on the website. I describe it. Scientifically proven that when you spill hot burning water on a plant, it screams, it goes crazy from the pain. And the next time when you go into the room, as soon as the plant will see you, is already shrinking from fear. Here is Eichmann arrived. For him, you're Eichmann. You know, you're lazy. You didn't want to go get cold water, so you put hot water. You wanted to give him water. He didn't know he's suffering from it. So the Gemara says when you chop a tree, the screaming of the tree go from one side of the other, but Hashem programmed the ears to work in a different frequency. So what do we have? We have raw material, we put it in the ground, and then it turns into growing, something that grows. That's the higher level. And then the animals eat it, like you see the deer, the sheep, they're all eating all these leaves. So it goes into the animal. And then the animal becomes the food of a person. So something can go in 4 different reincarnations. It can go and it can become a little bean that you put in the ground or any seed, and it goes into to become a plant, which become an animal, which become a person. You understand? This is a cycle of this nature, the way Hashem made it. So now, on animals, you also have 2 different categories, like Jews and non-Jews. You also have pure animal and impure animal. Pure animal, not that many. All the sheep, the goats, and the cow, the ox, the giraffe, the deer, the family of the deer, that's it. That's just about it. The bison, the buffalo is also kosher. You can buy their meat in Muncie there in the supermarket. But, you know, usually what we normally eat. Now, remember, it's very interesting because all the animals that we eat, the kosher animals, are animals that are surrender in nature. They're not an attacker. You know, which means a sheep doesn't attack any animals to eat, or a cow doesn't attack. And even an ox, if you don't drive him crazy like they do in Spain, he's never going to touch you. I went to Tzfat, I was taking pictures in between 2 oxes, they became friends. You know, they didn't attack. But if you drive him crazy, then he can attack. That's why the Gemara say, an average ox never attack. 1 out of million become crazy and begins to attack. So this is it. So all the surrender animals, why we don't have to sacrifice deer? Deer, it's a kosher animal. Why we don't have to sacrifice giraffe? Why we don't have to sacrifice bison? They're all pure animals. Only sheep and cows. Why is it? The answer is Hashem didn't want us to work so hard, to run after the deer and catch him in order for us to bring him to sacrifice. Yes, 3 months you walk. Do me a favor, I have to sacrifice you. Don't run. 3 months you run after him, you lose your life from this. Or giraffe. Try to bring a giraffe now, 15 Jews trying to pick up the giraffe with a ladder to slaughter it. It's very difficult. So you don't, Hashem knows that it's easy, but the goat, you come, you pick him up, like this, you walk, you bring him, Kohen takes him, 1, 2, 3, finish. Same thing a cow, you pull the cow, doesn't want to move, you kick it, that's it. The next thing is on the way to Bet HaMikdash. Okay, now, so, Mitzvat Maaseh HaOlah. What does it mean? It says like this. First, you slaughter the animal in a place in Bet HaMikdash that called Azara. Everyone can slaughter. Sometimes only the Kohen. Here, even a regular Jew can slaughter. Then you accept the blood in a special tool. And from now on, it's only Kohanim. Up to now, regular Israelites. From now on, we're going to a higher level of serving. So from now on, it's only the Kohanim. After the Kohen receive it, the blood, he takes the blood, he throw it on the altar, and then taking the skin of the animal, cutting it to the pieces, and removing the Gida Nashe. There's a special ligament in the back, very difficult to take it out. That's why the Ashkenazim don't eat the back part of the animal. They just get rid of the entire back. Because it's very difficult to take it from where it starts until where it ends. You have to dig inside and get it out. Too complicated. They prefer not to deal with that. And then sacrificing, burning it on the altar, on the Mizbeach, and getting rid of the wool, removing the wool. There's wool in the head, the wool in the beard. The Taish, the goats have beards, you know. And cleaning the bones, the ligaments, the horns, the legs, all the parts. As long as they're connected, they've been sacrificed together. But if they were removed, you don't sacrifice it by itself. But once it's all connected as one piece, even the beard, the bones, the horns, everything goes together on the altar. The Kohen sacrifices everything, right? Then, you know, you clean the inside, you get rid of all the garbage, because there's tons of things, of pieces that you remove from the stomach, all the bathroom of the stomach. You clean, you rinse the entire things. And how many people remove it, bringing it to the altar? If it's a lamb, a goat, 6 people. If it's a cow, 24 people. And this is when we're talking about public sacrifices. There are single sacrifices and public. Public means holiday, Rosh Chodesh. Now today was Rosh Chodesh Av. So what is it? It's a sacrifice for the entire nation of Israel. They also use the machatzit shekel from the bank of the Bet HaMikdash to buy this kind of sacrifices. And if it's an individual, I have to pay for it because it comes to instead of one of my sins. So it's all my responsibility. Okay, so there is many, many things. Obviously, I don't have time to start speaking until tomorrow and explain what it is. I'm just briefly bringing you the idea of what is in mean Korban Olah. Then we have Korban Mincha. Korban Mincha, the Torah says, "V'nefesh ki takriv Korban Mincha." Right? Mincha in Hebrew, what does it mean, Mincha? Mincha means a gift. A gift. And sometimes it's an animal, sometimes it's flowers. Right? You know, depend how rich is the person. Some people can afford, some people cannot afford. So every time a person brings this kind of sacrifices, that's called Korban Mincha. Mitzvah number 116, not to sacrifice chametz and honey. כי כל שאור וכל חמץ, כי כל חמץ וכל שאור לא תקטירו ממנו אישה להשם. The Torah says, honey cannot be sacrificed. It has horrible smell. When you burn honey, it's not a pleasant smell. But why is the reason that Hashem said not to bring honey? Not for the smell. Why? מפני שהתורה אמרה. It's very interesting. We say every day in a prayer in the morning, the 11 spices that they used to make the Torah with. 10 is perfume, beautiful smell. 1, horrible smell. The levona, it's horrible. What is it trying to teach us? That in order for Jews to do a mitzvah together, you need 10 kosher people. 10 Shomer Shabbos Jews, you can pray now to Hashem. Everybody else, extra from 11 on. 11, 12, doesn't matter. Even if they're not Shomer Shabbat, you can make them join. But you must have a solid foundation of 10 Shomrei Shabbat in order for you to have a kosher minyan. Why? Because according to the Torah, as I said in many of my lectures before, even though people don't like to hear the truth, it's disturbing them very much, but the truth is the truth. A person who violates Shabbat, which means he knows about Shabbat, he knows it's a holy day, he's a Jew, he knows a little bit, Shabbat, there's Jews keeping Shabbat all over, Rabbi speaking about Shabbat, articles about Shabbat, you know, he knows generally what Shabbat is. It's a special day for Judaism, and he doesn't care, and he violated like a weekday. Someone like this is 100% like a goy in the eyes of God. There's no difference between him and Chris and Ahmed. As a matter of fact, if Ahmed keep the 7 law, he's on a higher level than him. But once he's going to make repentance, this Jew, become religious, start keeping Shabbat, right away jump to a very high level. He doesn't need conversion. Even though up to now he was on a ban, he's considered a goy. But once he makes tshuva, in less than a second, he jumped to his normal level. A goy can keep Shabbat as much as he wants. It won't help him. He'll still stay a goy. But a Jew, as soon as he decides to keep Shabbat, right away jump to a higher level. Now I know what some of you think. Okay, so I have time. When I be 89, I'll start keeping Shabbat. Here, he's just saying, 1 second I'll become a rabbi. No, my friend. You just missed 89 years of trillions of mitzvot that you could have earned, and you don't have it, and nobody will return it to you. Nobody will return every minute of Shabbat who is gone already. That's called me'uvat lo yuchal litkon. What broke glass, you broke it to 1,000 pieces. You can put it together now? No way, my friend. You can try forever. You're never going to be able to. It's going to have lines, holes. It's not going to be. Every minute who passed will not return. The future you can correct. You can also get safe from the punishment, yes. But to get the reward of what you could have made, it's gone, and it will never return. Unless, if your tshuva is to the highest level, don't dwell too much, because nobody in this generation in this level, 16 years I didn't find anyone in this level. You know, maybe 1 or 2, maybe. Which means you did it with 100% pure love to Hashem, and everything you do from now on is only out of you crazy. You're in love with Hashem so much, you cannot live a second without Him. You're anxious to keep the mitzvot, not because you worry about the punishment, because you just cannot live without Hashem. This is what David HaMelech was. He wrote, Tzama nafshi le'elokim le'el chai. My soul is so thirsty for you. It's like a person who didn't drink for weeks in the desert. You give his life for water. Anything. He has a big house, just for a glass of water. Take my house, just give me the water already. This is how he felt anxiously to Hashem. We're not in this level. Let's not live in illusion here. So if a person became Baal Tshuva, religious, from this level, even his sins turn into mitzvot, into good points. Like I said, don't hallucinate, please. Let's go back to with our both legs on the ground. Let's hope that every Jew will be religious out of fear. Let's hope that at least everybody keeps Shabbat. It's also a very high level. When you respect and fear somebody, an authority above you, it's a very high level. Don't disrespect this kind of people, because we wish to be in this level, I promise you, from experience. If we be in this level, we keep all the mitzvot because we're afraid of the punishment. The Ramchal say, not me, don't have to count on me. The Ramchal is a giant Kabbalist, that Ira'ah is just as good as Ahava and even more. When you fear, when you understand who you're standing under, it's a very high level. So we say every morning, the 10 special perfume spices, and then one lousy smell that nobody can stand. But when you mix them together, you don't smell the bad one. So the Torah wanted to teach you, you want to bring a non-Shomer Shabbos into the minyan, make sure it's 11, not one of the 10. But there's something else we learn here. We say, Kichol sor v'chol dvash lo taktiru mimeno ishel Hashem. Do not sacrifice to me any seor, any chametz, and any ani, because it has a very bad smell. And then right away, the Mishnah asks, and why we're not sacrificing honey? Because this is what Hashem said. What do you mean? You just say, why we don't sacrifice honey? Why don't we bring honey on a fire? Because it smells horrible. And then right away, so why don't we do it? Not because it smells horrible, because this is what Hashem say, which means, this is a big secret here. You can always find a reason why we don't do this, and why we don't do this, and why we do it this way and not do it that way. Yes, and all of them could be correct. But the answer, the real answer, why do we do it? Because this is what God wanted, and we will never know the deep reason for it. Never. At least not in this life. Because it's all divine thinking. As the Torah says, Ki lo machshevotai machshevotechem, velo drachai darkechem. My ways and your ways are not the same. My thoughts and your thoughts are not the same. You think about one thing per second. One thing per second. You're thinking about the money that somebody has to send you. You forgot about your wife at that second. Cannot think of both of them together. It's either her or the money. Then you forgot about the money. Now you think about your wife. Second later, somebody knock on the door. You forgot about your wife. Now you think about the door. Now you have to do something. Whatever you do that second, that's all you think about. How many people can write in one hand in English and in the other one in Hebrew, even though it's working fine, from right to left, from left to right? So your both hands can meet. But how many people? You need two brains for it. There was one who used to do it. Rav Chaim Oizer in Europe was the chief rabbi of Ashkenaz. He was talking to 12 different writers. And also he was talking to a person who was asking him questions, and he was writing a book all at the same time. Which means, this is what it means, remember now. Now I want to write 12 books. One book about the laws of marrying a woman. So I take the first person, you and I, we're writing a book, how you get married. Then the next person, the law of slaughtering. How do you slaughter? We write, it's all in the same room. And the next one, the laws of Shabbat. And the next one, the secrets of Parashat Bechukotai. And the next one, the Olam Haba, the world to come. And everyone a different subject, and this is how I go. Start with the first one. Aisha niknet b'shlosha dvarim. You can purchase a woman with 3 different ways to make her your life. Then you take the cow, you open it, you take the knife, you check the knife, you go to him. Olam Haba, there are 7 different heavens, this, that. and go in circles to save time. Imagine, just by the time you go to the second person, nobody remember where here. I don't remember a week after where I finished the lecture. This is all 12 people, and then one nudnik is standing over there asking questions, and he's writing a book by himself. And who say that he saw it in his own eyes? The rabbi who just passed away 2 weeks ago, 97 years old. What was his name? Rabbi Lefkovich from Israel. A big rabbi from Ponovich. He was Rosh Yeshivat Ponovich LeTzeirim, for young, for teenagers. In his own eyes, he was in a room while it was taking place. And then another person saw him writing with 2 hands, 2 different languages at the same time. But that's every rule in life. Hashem made an exception to the rule. There is one Russian guy. You can see him in YouTube. Any mathematical question you ask him, in less than 2 seconds, he answers. You ask him 1,700,065 times 300,221.5. Goes like this. Okay, 1,500,000,000. Right away answer. No joke. How many people? That's just to show you. We use 3 or 4% of our brain. This is probably a person who uses 7% of his brain. Already see the ability, you know. So every rule, there's an exception to the rule. And Hashem made a lot of exceptions for us to teach us about the rule. To teach us, not about himself, to teach us about the rule. So this is, like I say, Hashem say, my thoughts and your thoughts are not the same. I run the whole world, billions of people, animals, everyone connected to each other. I supervise everyone. I plan the next minute. I plan the next hour. You cannot think about more than one thing, and you think to understand me? What an embarrassment. This is what the Rambam wrote. The Rambam, Maimonides, he say, Ilu yeda'ativ aitiv. If I knew him, I would be him. That's very simple. Sometimes people come to me, they ask me, Rabbi, who is bigger, Rav Ovadia or Rav Ben Zion? I say, well, you know, in order for me to answer, first I have to be at least in their levels. Now when I'm going to be in their level, now I know, I see him, and I'm just as good as them, so I can tell you who's better. But it's like coming to a baby, 3 weeks old, crawling on the rug and crying for water, and asking him who's better, Albert Einstein or Galileo Galilei. What does he know about? He doesn't know what you want. Not in their league to understand who's better. How are you going to judge them? By what kind of hat they go with? And how long is the beard? So that was mitzvah number 117. Mitzvah number 118, not to sacrifice any sacrifice without salt. Salt must be on the altar all the time. Salt symbolizes an eternal covenant that God made with us. Why? Because salt is one of the only ingredients in nature that can never get spoiled. No matter you leave your salt on your kitchen table for 5,000 years, you come after 5,000 years, maybe the glass will fall apart, but the salt is still in. Salt never gets spoiled. Doesn't need a refrigerator, doesn't matter. It's always going to stay like this. So salt, that's one of the secrets why we take lechem and we dip it 3 times in the melach, because lechem and melach, bread and salt, is the same letter. Lechem, lamed, chet, mem, melach. The same letters, 6 times. These letters give us combination of holy names. It's all secrets, why we do it 3 times, not 2 times, whatever. So the idea is that this is, and that's why the Torah say, and the Chachamim say, you should always keep salt, bread and salt always on your table, because this is like melach ze brit olam. Okay, so no sacrifice without salt. Always make sure there's salt on the sacrifice. Mitzvah number 119, it's a mitzvah to put salt on every one of the sacrifices, which means before we said that when you sacrifice, you have to make sure that you put salt, and every time you sacrifice, you put salt on the altar with the sacrifice. Now, we have okay, so why? It's technically the same thing, right? Mitzvah number 118 and 119 technically is the same thing. No. Many times the Torah come in positive speaking and negative speaking and describe exactly the same mitzvah, which means mitzvah number 118 was not a commandment, was a restriction. Make sure you never sacrifice any sacrifice without the salt. Don't ever do that. That's a restriction. Then mitzvah number 118, actually the same thing, but in a positive talking, which means if a person does it, he violated 2 of the 613, which means subject to a bigger punishment. And every time the Torah mentions something more than once, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 12, that shows that it's more important. For instance, Shabbat. How many times it's mentioned in the Torah? How many times I need to know that I cannot violate the 39 laws of Shabbat? How many times? Once, twice, it's enough. 12 different times. 12 times. Why? It's very important. Make sure you never forget that. It's the eternal covenant. There's only one thing that is mentioned more times than Shabbat. Who knows? Something that all of us are very bad with, very weak. To love the converts, to help them, to respect them, never to laugh at them, never to deceive them, to cheat them. 36 different variations with relationship between Jews from birth to Jews who chose to be Jews. Today, instead of helping them, loving them, running after them, do you need something? Right away they become like a second-class citizen. Unless if they become really big chachamim, then you don't see the difference anymore, because they know everything. Most converts, they don't know, they know a little bit. And right away, we don't accept you, you cannot convert, you have to go to a different country. Over here, we don't accept. Mexico, they don't convert. Over in certain communities in New York, they don't accept converts. All kinds of things. Now, again, some of the reasons when you argue with these people, it makes sense. I'll give you an example. One time, I had converts that wanted to convert in Mexico. And in Mexico, it's the Syrian community. They control the Bedin over there. And they don't accept converts in Mexico. You cannot convert in Mexico. You cannot convert. You have to come to the United States, to Canada, to Israel, but not there. But these people converted before all the decrees. And based on their emails, and I have many emails that I receive, husband and wife, their life over there was mamash gehenom. Because every shul they came in, they showed them you're not welcome here. Their children with schools, they suffered so much there. Even though they had a good job, that they had no choice. They had to leave the country. And they had to go to a different country. They have to go to a different country. One day, after a few months, the guy sends me an email that his wife is tired of keeping Shabbat. After she converted, an Orthodox conversion. So he sends me now an email that she said, leave it to me with Hashem. When I come to Hashem, I'll know what to say. Which means, I'm so frustrated from this community, what they did to us in Mexico, that I'm tired of the religion because of the way they treated us. This is her excuse. So I wrote an email back to them. I say, please tell your wife that if this is the choice she's making them 100% right. Please make me right, not them. You got the point or no? If now you're going back to become secular and you drop, that's exactly what they claim. You cannot trust them. They come, they become religious 1, 2, 3 months, 1 year. Boom, one day, they go back to be what they want and they drop everything. And then they have children in our schools, they're affecting our children. It's a big thing. Plus, the main reason really is because now it became a fashion. Every nice rich guy from the Jewish community who goes to clubs and places like this, right away have 15 Christines attached to him, like a magnet. They see, nice looking, comes with nice watch, nice car, and then he shows them the beautiful mansion of his parents in Brooklyn. Right away, it's the dream of her life. She'll do everything for him. 2 minutes later, what do you want me? I'll be Rivka, I'll be Sarah, just name it. Right away, she wants to convert. Now, what's going to happen? Every day, a new Christine comes to shul. Christine and Christina and this and Jennifer and whatever. All of a sudden, they all show up. And half of the community become converts who became converts just because they fell in love with some Jew, which is a very questionable conversion to begin with, if it's kosher bichlal or not. According to most opinion, it's 0. It's waste of time. So what happened? They decided, you know what, since it's too much business involved here, there's no real love to Hashem here. It's just, I want to marry this Israeli guy or this American Jew. So we put a ban on it. They don't allow. So who paid the price? The converts that are real pay the price. When you have one collector of tzedakah that is a crook, and he gets caught and they put him on the news, who paid the price? Not him. The people who are kosher, they come next, they don't get anything. Why? Because the person heard on the news that somebody with a beard was a thief in the end. When you see a religious person that in the end was doing all kinds of crimes, who paid the price? Different kind of people. Right away, everyone become a suspect. Not only by Jews, by the Goyim, the same thing. If one black guy murder, what happened the next day? Ooh, they're all murderers. If an Italian guy, ooh, they're all mafia. If this one, ooh, they're all like this. The Jews, oh, they're all like this. This is the mind of a people. They don't understand that in every place you have good, you have bad. People don't understand. They right away generalize. And even if you have in some communities, the majority of the people are negative in something, whatever it is, doesn't mean everyone is like this. Still means it could be 20, 30% of innocent good people. And it's very difficult because the mind of the people right away to generalize. Oh yeah, from this nationality, I don't want shidduch for my son. No, I don't want from them. Why? I have bad experience with them. 2 or 3 people in business were not good to him. Now this entire nationality is on put him on a cherem, an ex. He doesn't want his daughter to marry from these people because 2 or 3 of them were not good. You understand what's going on here? So this is it. Okay, let's move on. Mitzvah number 120. Mitzvah, okay, if the Beit Din, if the Jewish court made a mistake in teaching the wrong halacha, they were asked a question and they taught the wrong way. And now they found out that they made a mistake. If it's a sin that's subject to a karet punishment, there are 36 restrictions in the Torah that the punishment from them is isur karet, which means, and the soul shall cut out of my nation. I cut that soul out of eternity, which means the person die, has no share to the world to come. What happened if the Jewish court, 71 chief rabbis in the world who sit in the same building, said you're allowed to use this crack part on Shabbat? If today we have the third temple and the Sanhedrin sit over there and they invent a new wireless part, whatever, I don't know how it works. And now you come with this and you show it to them and they examine, they check inside, they call the company, they check exactly how it's built, they check the temperature with the lights, goes on, off, there's a lot of things to check. And then in the end they say, okay, it's kosher, you can make chulent in this pot. And then after 2 weeks, somebody comes and shows them, oh, rabbis, with all the respect, you did not see this part. This is what happened after 3 hours. Wow, when we made the decision, we didn't know that detail. That changed the whole thing. But everyone in the meantime, everyone violates Shabbat now. All over Israel, they're buying this pot like crazy. What happened now? Big problem, no? Who has to pay? The judges, the rabbis, or the people? Who has to pay? Let's read. It says like this. Sanhedri Gdola, there are 2 kinds of Sanhedri. 71, small one is 23. This is 71. If they made a mistake and taught the opposite of the truth, right? And since that you obligated Isur Karet, and most of the people did like they ordered, right? What do we have to do in that case? We have to bring a sacrifice for repentance. A sacrifice for repentance. Why we have to suffer? It's your mistake. This is, by the way, the answer to all these wise guys and girls that say, Rabbi, I don't care. This restaurant kosher has a certificate, I eat here. If the rabbi didn't check the letters and I'm eating worms, it's his problem, the mashgiach, not mine. Beloni. If worms were poisoned that you died immediately, would you count on a rabbi in the kitchen to check the letters for worms? Imagine there were a law in nature that 1 worm you eat, you die. Anybody here would eat letters in a kosher restaurant with the best hashgacha on it? Anyone would eat? Nobody would eat. So who are you telling stories? There are some scenes that it's reality. Reality. It doesn't matter you knew or you did not know. I put poison in your coffee. Ah, delicious coffee. Up! Chaz v'shalom is in a coma now. His wife, but he didn't know. Why does he have to suffer? He didn't know it's poison there. He would never drink. Of course he didn't know. It's reality. Reality, it's reality. You drink gasoline, you die. You drink bleach, you die. You didn't know. Of course you didn't know. Same thing here. You didn't know there were worms there. You're counting on the rabbi, which worked already 13 hours and he cannot open up his eyes after he checked thousands of leaves today. So by now he was already dizzy. The last 20 pieces he let go. And then every worm is 6 scenes from the Torah. 6 different scenes. It comes in different verses. So now you ate about 35, 40 times 6, 200 scenes, like 200 steaks of pork in 1 piece of leaf, lettuce. 1 piece, just for your knowledge. Now you come to Shamayim, Hashem, never in my life I ate in a non-glad kosher restaurant. The best kashrut I ate. Hashem said, look what happened. So what do you want from me? It's his fault. It's reality. It makes you unable to tell the difference between good and bad when you learn Torah. It's not your fault. Here is the proof. That 71 biggest people in the world made a mistake, and we, all of us, have to bring a sacrifice because we made that mistake. Why? Because the damage to our soul was still done. So don't ever count on other people. Yeah, it's true. They give you the... But if there is a way to double check, triple check, be extra careful, be extra careful. I count on them. Things that you have no way to know. Glad kosher slaughtering. You don't know how to slaughter. You don't know how to do it. And you don't know how to check. They tell you, the big rabbis, this is a good shochet. And you trust him, and he gets good certificates, and he's experienced. No, it's not in your hand. 100%, it's not in your hand. But some people won't even eat meat. Unless if they slaughter it themselves, the rabbi. I only eat what I slaughter. Other people slaughter even though they're very good. But maybe today they were a little bit dizzy. Maybe they lost in the stock market. Their mind somewhere else. What do I know? I know how I did it. I messed up or I did good. That's all. Then, mitzvah number 121, times is running out. We have 3-4 minutes. Let's do another 1 or 2. 121, a person who made a sin, not intentional sin, such as violating Shabbat. In our day, he turned the lights on Shabbat by mistake. Came into the house from the synagogue. 1 room was dark. Accidentally wanted to take a book. Instinct. Turn the light on. Violation of Shabbat. Since he did not do it on purpose, he forgot for a second, in the time of Bet HaMikdash, he would have to take a sacrifice all the way to Bet HaMikdash. It's called Korban Chatat, which means not intentional karet sin. If it's intentional, that's the karet's punishment that I told you, that the soul get cut for eternity. But since it wasn't intentional, the sacrifice should erase it. That comes the goat that you bring. What happened if you didn't want to turn the light on? You just lean on a wall by talking to someone, you got tired. So you lean on a wall, and the light went on. So I didn't know there's a switch here. Now the light went on. What do you have to do in this case? It's intentional or not intentional? Huh? Not intentional. Mitasek, right? Not intentional. So what did we just say right now? When it's not intentional, what do you have to do? Bring a sacrifice. Over here, you don't have to. Why? Who can tell me the difference between the different example that I gave? That when you turn it by mistake, and when you lean on it by mistake on the wall, and the light went on without realizing. What's the difference?
It has to be Shabbat.
Very good. The whole concept of Shabbat, remember this, it's called Melechet Machshevet Asra HaTorah. Work that were designed based on thinking, which means I want light here, and the way to get light here is to turn the switch, which means I'm going to close the circuit, and it's going to send the electric to this light bulb, and the light will come on because I need light to read right now. So the first thing came into my mind is I need light, and now I'm going to do something about it. But if it never entered my mind before I made the transaction, the violation, then it's not a sin bichlal on Shabbat. Nothing. No, you don't even need to bring a sacrifice. Not even an intentional sin. It's only a sin when it enters your mind first. Now the question is, how did it enter your mind? If it enters your mind now you want light, you knew you want light, but at that moment you forgot that it's Shabbat. That's called a not intentional sin. Or you didn't know that you're not allowed to do this in Shabbat, but you still wanted to do it. You wanted to do what you just did. So you wanted to do it, but you didn't know it's not allowed on Shabbat, or you didn't know today it's Shabbat, or you got out of sleep and you didn't know. So that's called a not intentional sin. But over here, leaning on the wall, you didn't want light bichlal. You didn't think I want light. You wanted to lean. That's called mitasek. While you doing all your stuff, it happened accidentally. So that's a different story. So now, if you did it, like I said, not intentionally, and you have to bring a goat to Bet HaMikdash, that's called korban chatat, and a person who did it must bring it to Bet HaMikdash. That's mitzvah number 121. Mitzvah number 122, mitzvah of giving a testimony, being a witness in front of the judges. Testimony about life and death. Based on your testimony, they kill someone or send him free, or manner of money, right? That's called vehu ed או ראה או ידע אם לא יגיד ונשא עוונו. You have an obligation from Hashem to testify. You cannot pretend you didn't see. Here in America, a smart person that saw some kind of a crime, when the police come and ask him, hey, sir, did you see anything? He has to be a fool to say yes. Because from the minute he say yes, his torture begin. They come here, come to the prison tomorrow, wait online, sit there with no air condition for 2 hours until the officer will finish his beer or coffee, whatever, and until you fill up the report, and then they call you again, come again, something in your testimony is not. The next thing you become guilty. Oh, maybe you are the murderer. Something is not right here. Hello, I'm sorry, no, speak English. No English. Goodbye. Why? From the minute you say I saw, oh. But if it's something in the Torah, and you saw it, you don't need the rabbis to invite you to testify. You must go. If you know something and you're not running to the court to testify, it's a serious violation from Hashem, and Hashem will punish the person who does it. Why? Because now a Jew, an innocent Jew, is about to lose his life or to lose money, and you know something that can save him and find the right criminal, and you sit home and smoke your cigars like nothing happened. How can you live with yourself? Or someone innocent will die, or he will sent to jail, or whatever the case is. So this is it. Mitzvah number 123. It's called mitzvah korban ole veyored. There's a sacrifice who go ups or down. What does it mean, ups and down? It's a person who entered Bet HaMikdash accidentally. נכנס למקדש בשגגה. כן? Or he brought impure meat inside. Right? Or he swore on something that he will do or will not do. And all kinds of sins like this. The Torah said like this, ונפש כי תכתב ושמעה קול עלה, כלומר כל שבועה, אם לא יגיד ונשא עוונו. And the Torah, okay, I just want to get to the point. What is this kind of sacrifices? So when they bring the sacrifice into Bet HaMikdash, is sometimes a person doesn't know if he's really guilty or not. Maybe I did, maybe I'm not. So when a person brings this kind of sacrifice, what happened to him? You know for sure you made a sin, you must bring it. If you don't know, you don't have to. What happened if you have a doubt? There's a special kind of sacrifice for this. So it doesn't count as a sin you brought it, because you really don't know. Same thing like when someone claimed that you owe him money, and you remember that you borrowed $100 from him, but you're not sure if you returned it or not. So you tell him, oh, I think I returned it to you, no? He said, no, you didn't. He's sure that you didn't, and you don't know. What's the law? Now you don't know. You don't remember. He said, no, you owe me, you never gave it to me. You can be lying. but you don't know. Technically, you must give it to him. Why? Because there is a 50% chance you never paid. Now you must pay it. If you don't pay it, you may come to Shamayim and you borrow money and you never paid back. Oh, you're guilty of the money. It's better to pay twice than to die without paying. What happened if a person stole $100 from someone's pants in a gym with 5,000 Jews there? Country club. Now he comes back to the locker room, everyone get dressed, and everyone today wear jeans. Which one? Hey, I stole $100 from one of the pences here. Who is missing $100? 5,000 people say me. now you don't know who to give it to. What do? I'll give you two possibilities. You tell me which one is correct. You put the $100 on the table and say, break your head with that, and you leave. Or you have to give each one of them a $100 bill. Which one is the halakha?
Choice B.
Each one of them.
Choice B.
Each one of them. Each one of them, my friend. To be a thief, it's not a picnic. You must pay. Maybe him, maybe I stole to you, maybe I stole to you. Now, 4,999 people are all thieves. That they say me. They're stealing from you. So, but you at least pay the guy. You understand? Because if not, you have a serious problem. Then another mitzvah, we're almost done, mamash. שלא להבדיל הראש בחטאת העוף. When a person is not rich, cannot afford a goat, and he has to bring a bird, he brings a bird. When you sacrifice the bird, you don't chop the head off. The head has to be connected to the body, right? Why? Even though you slaughter, don't cut it completely to chop the head. Slaughtering half of the throat, which makes the animal die instantly. No blood goes into the brain. The nerve system is going crazy, and you see that sometimes even he can run. You know, his head is already chopped, but the chicken can make another 3-4 steps. Or the cow jump on the floor, the legs up. Why is it? It's like a virus in your computer. Well, everything, lights goes on, this, that, running. 15 buttons working at the same time. Why? Because the hard drive is messed up. I had a computer like this. All the warning lights in 1 minute. Here, this, that. The email stopped working. You have to beg that one at least would work. So that's called the brain. The brain is not functioning anymore. That's why they jump. Not because they suffer, like some of the goyim claim. Because that's it. The message was sent already from the brain to the nerve system and stopped working. What is it like? Like a download. Sometimes you're downloading, and then the internet, the wireless, stop working. But in the meantime, some of the downloads were sent, so it's working for another 5 seconds. And then it died. Why? That was sent already before the head was chopped off. You understand? So the message was sent, so the nerve system is still functioning. But then since there is a short, everything starts jumping. And come all these goyim now in Switzerland and in Holland, and they want to make kosher slaughtering not kosher. And the last mitzvah from today, number 125. Remember, 125. Next Monday, by the way, there's no lecture. It's Erev Tisha B'Av. So we will return Bezrat Hashem the following Monday, but 8:45, not 9 o'clock. Now it's slowly becoming winter time. 8:45, and eventually I hope to do it 8:30 if it's okay. So like this, we can finish earlier. Right now, remember, in 2 weeks from now, 8:45, and the last mitzvah from today, not to put olive oil in the minchat choteh. A person that is a sinner and is poor, he cannot even afford a chicken. And he brings flour. He has to put oil, not olive oil. Olive oil is just, from all the oils, olive oil is the special. That's why I use it for Hanukkah candle, for Shabbos candle. Olive oil has a lot of secrets in it. If kids have problem with the brain, they're not so smart, you rub some olive oil on the brain, it's absorbed inside, it opens some channels over there. There's all kinds of things with olive oil. It's improved the memory, etc., etc. So the whole secret of olive, that when you eat olives, it makes you forget. But when you eat olive oil, it makes you remember. How can it be? Same fruit. Once it's the good and the bad together, the bad overcome the good. What makes you forget? When you take the good and separate the bad, you got rid of the garbage. Now it became the best medicine. You mix it together with the dirt, it's like coming to shul with shorts. Hashem, I need your salvation, I'm suffering, I need your Yeshua. Short sleeve, this, that, cell phone ringing in the middle. Hashem, שפתי תפתח, hold on 1 minute. ופי יגיד תהילתך. I see it when I go to places to daven. Hashem, שמע תפילתנו, we're suffering, build בית המקדש. No, 5,000. No, שמע קולנו, where was I forgot already. I'm in מנחה, שחרית, ראש חודש. That's what's going on here. I live with the garbage combined, just not working. That's what so many people, I pray. 20 years I pray and I still don't have it. Pray 1 time good, you see a difference. 1 time. 20 years you pray, not 1 time it was good, that's all. You know, computer, 20,000 times I put my password, Rabbi. 20,000 variations. All of them were not correct. You put the right one, it's working. That's what it is. Show up late. Some people, they show up to shul only because they're Kohanim. So they show up to Birkat Kohanim of Musaf. Shabbat, 10:30 he shows up. Right away, put talit, Yevarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. 2 minutes ago was snoring. Right away, he got to the most important bracha of the week. I hope there's no Kohanim here. Oh, I get myself into more problems. All right, so like I said, no, not allowed to mix olive oils. Bezrat Hashem, Wednesday I'm speaking on 77 and Main Street. Please pass the word. And from now on, hopefully you won't even go to the Facebook. But if you're already there, make sure not only you press like, you press 15 times a minute to everything you can spread Torah, not only by me. Any kind of lecture that is inspiring, clip, video, article, what do you lose? What do you lose? It cost you money? Eat. Finish. It went to your 500 people. Hit it again. It goes again. And from there, if every one of them would listen to my advice, you know how much Torah? We can triple the amount of Torah every hour. Triple the amount of Torah. 1 second of Torah, it's eternity. It's not a joke. And remember, these people who usually on the Facebook are people who will never hear Torah anywhere else. I'm telling you from experience. They're not going to go to yeshiva and learn. They're not going to shachrit. They wake up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because they were in a bar, some of them, until 4 o'clock in the morning. They're not going to come. They're not going to come 7 o'clock to pray. They're not coming to mincha. Maybe accidentally the rabbi will read 5 halachot between mincha and arvit. They don't do anything. The only chance, they're not going to go to a bookstore to buy a book and learn Torah. All of a sudden it came to them, a video, life after life. What kind of a normal person is not curious to hear 10 minutes about life after life? He hears about it. 2 minutes out of the 10 change his entire life. If you don't believe me, here, an email for 2 hours.